Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Mad Hatter. It's the Shadow Tamer, reporting live from the depths of the universe. So whatever. People might not like this, but I'm talking about Kanye. So recently, Kanye West was hospitalized after a concert. There's videos out there. There's social media clips showing him going on a rant. So they haven't been able to confirm it, but based on some reasonable, inferences, we can basically look at the evidence and see that more than likely Kanye West um, had a psychotic breakdown. Now, this is what his physician says, right? I guess as a physician that that usually is with the celebrities or any famous person. The physician called 911 or the fire department or whatever whoever picks up first, and he told them that he had a patient or he was with somebody who was not necessarily threatening anybody or threatening physical harm, but he was going through an episode, and they say it's because he's not getting enough sleep, he's not taking care of himself, so this is what happens. But I find it really interesting how a lot of people are calling him crazy, and it kind of reminds me of what Dave Chappelle said. I think it was on the Screen Actors Guild. How the one thing that we shouldn't do to people is consider them crazy. And in my opinion, especially black men, I think black men and black women, people of color, everybody goes through some shit. But as a black man to make it in Hollywood and that in those racist industries, Kanye West is a strong individual. So I don't think that he's like going crazy. He's not a weak-minded person. But people are automatically calling him crazy. And it's almost like after he went on this very kind of, in my opinion, intelligent rant. Um, so yeah, they want to go ahead and call him crazy. Dave Chappelle, one of the things he said was like, we shouldn't really do that. We should listen to people. But I do find it interesting how after he made some like really interesting points, in my opinion, now like the media is going after him. Everybody is in hate Kanye mode now, but nobody's really talking about what he said. So let me go ahead and talk about what he said. So, well, first off, before I even go into what he said, can we talk about how when Kanye rants, as a black man, how he's immediately seen as crazy, but Trump can hop up on Twitter, our president elect can hop up on Twitter and just spew whatever the fuck comes to his mind, but we don't label him as crazy. Well, nobody's willing to throw him under the bus, which makes me wonder, is it because he's maybe not really going to change anything? Anyway, whole different conversation. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that Kanye West talked about in his quote-unquote rant. So interesting, transition, I guess, is that he actually did talk about Donald Trump. And the whole night he was basically saying that there are things that we can learn from Donald Trump. Like when he kept saying, I'm on my Donald Trump shit, the way that I viewed that is that he's, as a black man, I think that in people of color, we do too much of this kind of like policing ourselves too much. Oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend boss. But he's like, you know what? Fuck that, nigga. Like, say what the fuck you want to say. And be comfortable in your craziness, right? And that's one thing that I learned from Donald Trump personally is like, I might not like the guy, but I respect some of the stuff. I respect how he's able to say what the fuck he wants, and people try to take him down, but he just keeps growing and getting stronger. Like, he don't give a fuck what people think. To a certain extent, that is admirable to a certain extent. So that's what I have to say about that. And then he goes on to say something I thought was really interesting. He goes on to say, like, he's talking about politics, and he kept saying like fuck the radio. He brought up Drake and DJ Khaled, and I know what he was trying to say, but he didn't articulate it the best in this way. And he even says that, he says, look, man, I don't articulate things the best, but I'm speaking from my heart. But anyway, he says sometimes we be playing the politics too much and be forgetting who we are just to win. Fuck winning. Fuck looking cool. Now you can look at that and be like, oh well, he's being he's being hypocritical because he's trying to get in the fashion industry and this and that. But just because you're trying to get in the fashion industry, it doesn't have to mean that you have to be a pretentious prick or you really care that much about clothing. Like he's still working in that system. He's working within that system. I think that he wants to make clothing more affordable to a certain extent. But I think when you're working within that system, it's kind of hard to change the system. But you got to get in first. He's still trying to get in. But he's saying, fuck looking cool, fuck being cool. And I think he's trying to get on some real shit right now. And I'll get into why he's being real. He even says, I'm risking my career being this real, right? He goes on to say, kind of about the whole fuck being cool thing. He says, we are all equal. This is vibes, bruh. And this is when he was talking about Kid Cudi, who also was went into rehab for depression and things like that. Kanye didn't go into rehab, but they're also experiencing, I guess, some mental issues, which I think that a lot of us deal with, but we just don't want to recognize. But at least these guys are recognizing their shadows, right? He goes on to also say Obama was perfect and still hated. So he said being perfect doesn't change shit sometimes. And that's why I respect what he was saying, because I think what he was saying is like if you be real, if you're just real to yourself, like sometimes that's more important than trying to impress everybody, because Obama was a master politician. He was great at what he did. And he was able to, charm a room. He can charm his way into anything, man. Shit. But he tried to please everybody, and now a lot of his stuff might actually not even have a legacy because he was too nice. He tried to work with everybody. He tried to please everybody. And he still didn't really change shit at the end of the day. Now, part of that is, yes, you have the Republicans who were fighting against him, but at the same time, he tried to please everyone, even when he had the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to say about that. So, yeah, he talks a little bit about Jay-Z and Beyonce. I don't want to get too much into that. I want to try to wrap this up. But he also goes on to say, it's a new world, feelings matter. And in this instance, he talks about Hillary Clinton. And he talks about how, Hillary ignored people's feelings in this election. Like, it's a new era we're moving into. A lot of people call it post-truth. And kind of what this is about is how, in this era, how you feel is more important than the evidence and the facts. Even if what you feel is not really based in reality, the fact that you feel that means something. And I think we should dwell on that. Not dwell on it, but we should really understand that deeper. Like how you feel is more important than facts. But how you feel is real. Even if you're kind of making that reality, it is real. And he's talking about that. He said that Hillary Clinton ignored that. And he goes on to say, quote, if you still following old-ass models, your ass is going to get Hillary Clinton. End quote. I thought that was a pretty dope quote. I like that shit. And then, to wrap this up, the thing that really got me is how this whole controversy started because he said that if he would have voted, he would have voted for Donald Trump. Now, you got a lot of black people who are mad at him on different things because, first off, he didn't vote. People will say, oh, well, your ancestors died so you can vote. My opinion, I say, nah, they died so that we could have an option to vote or whatever the fuck we wanted to do. They died so that we could have choice. So people were mad at him because he tweeted about that, and that's how this whole this whole issue got into the forefront. And then he goes on to say again, like, I'm on my Donald Trump shit, which is really going to get black people mad. And I think it's kind of unfortunate because there was an instance where I think Snoop Dogg kind of threw him under the bus. Snoop Dogg was like, oh, well, what's he on? He's looking crazy. He must be on some pills or some shit, but I smoke weed, so weed don't make you do that. And all the blogs, all the blogs are like reposting that. And I feel like, look, man, as a black man, like, there ain't a lot of us, man, and it's really us against the world to a certain extent. So we should kind of stick together a little bit. Like, you can't help your homie out. Not only is he a black celebrity, but y'all both musicians, man. Like, what he was talking about, Snoop Dogg, like how you have to fucking politic all the fucking time. So I think that's what Kanye was talking about. He's like, look, man, put that shit aside. Put that shit aside sometimes. Like, there's some real shit going on. And before I end this, I'm going to end it here. He also said that he was under some kind of spiritual attack. He felt like these were some very trying times, and he's under some very serious spiritual distress. You guys let me know what you think about that. I have my opinions about that, but honestly, that could be a whole nother video. This kind of got long. I kind of ranted a little bit. on my Kanye West shit, on my Trump shit, but whatever. I wanted to get that out. Um, I'll put a link in the description so you guys can kind of follow this. So yeah, check that out, and I'll see you guys next time.